here, just want to remind everyone that he is our last presenter of the first half, and we're going straight into an intermission after this. We're going to try and keep the intermission short so the evening doesn't take too long and you can mingle afterwards. But just so you know, there are 2 bars open, and the event is casual, such that if you need to go get a drink in the middle of these presentations, one is right there. You can still see stuff and hear stuff, and please do so. Gary Vlasic, I believe he said that the title of his presentation was "The Flowerness of the Moment." Gary's past experiences and process includes 25 years of dance, theater performances, visual arts, and design for exhibition, events, and interiors. Gary has been directing, choreographing, and producing multimedia and mixed media events and performances since 1985. Gary is a diverse, beautiful man and father. I wrote that. Recently, Gary's partnered with Cara Diorio to form a design studio called MELDstudio. It's a design firm that embraces interiors design, experiential design, and product design. Gary Vlasic.
Hello. Okay, ready. This title came from Allen Ginsberg, an interview I found, and I felt like it really was reflecting the transitory nature of kind of the body of my work and what informs my work, my process, my artwork. And I was just struck by how beautifully it related to everything that I do, and it led me to tonight to kind of want to talk about transformation and at the ephemeral moment, and how that really informs my work and my performance life, and that everything's about fleeting. Everything I work on is about working hard. It's over in 2 minutes or 2 hours or 2 weeks, and you move on. I realized that where I always get into trouble, and where what gets me in trouble is when I try to anchor into the elusive nature of this weighty world we live in. So I feel like I always do better when I'm really embracing the temporary and really embracing those ephemeral moments, because I think it's kind of what really informs the base of my work. The moment is the magic, it's the spontaneity, it's always about the surprise. And so it leads me to this next quote, which is just time to rethink the temporary. I really feel like temporary is kind of where my head is. It informs always my process of how to get through an event, how to do my artwork, how to do a performance. And so I think architecture and design ideas that are making the news is this fast, fleeting pop-up concept, this idea of food carts and marketplaces and performing spaces and art spaces and pavilions for art and experience. And I think that it seems to be that we're all craving experiences at this point in our life, rather than the kind of brick and mortar experience. You're looking at some of my artwork, which is also a fleeting thing. It's a collage base of many layers, photographs, art, ink, paint, and I just kind of layer and layer and layer, and I never feel like I finish a piece. I always feel like I can go back a year later, start stripping it apart, and so again, it's just this process that I relate to. I never feel like something's done. So the process is let's just start making shit. It's just, let's get busy, you know. You need to make stuff to get it back. We are our own source of work. We processes into the repeating until you really get your visual correct. And so I just say don't wait. You know, we've just got to start doing it. Just start making stuff, and it all really takes you somewhere. It took me 50 years to kind of come up with my statement, you know, where I really just wanted to figure out what am I doing, and it was really just that simple. I'm here to create beauty. So performance and dance theater has really been at the core and a huge part of my past, and I've spent 25 years, and so you're looking at some snippets here of last year's show that I did at the UMOCA, formerly Salt Lake Art Center, which is right on. UMOCA, and they really allowed me to create this wonderful venue space where I could really get into the space and use it as an open studio as a format, with very strong restrictions, which was about time, and never enough money, never enough time with your dancers. So I had 9 days to choreograph, stage, and throw myself into a space for a piece that went on for 48 hours with no beginning and no end. And it did culminate into these wonderful moments that came at every night where I had about 30 dancers that came and went through the piece. This is a piece I did several years ago that was a site-specific piece, and so the site work for me is really important. It really does inform and really informs my work at the most basic level, which is I love to just work with the architecture, to work with the scale, and to really think about the history of the site. Let's see here, another photograph from that same show that was called Prosthetic. It was a rooftop piece. It was very Wagnerian, and for every good moment it had 10 awful ones, so you do your best, you know. So I do look at some of this stuff and I just think, wow, it was really something else, you know. Again, big thoughts. So the experience, so that's what it's all about for me, and I think it's what it's all about for Salt Lake City at this point. So here we are at the Zion Tribe. I think we're really, I really look at this as the way we look at Downtown Rising. In a lot of ways, it's where we're all pioneers here. We're all dragging our mattresses up the mountainside. You know, it's this slow and cautious cityscape that we've all been navigating, and I think finally I'm really feeling this vibrancy here. These are some samples of just environments, the experience, things you can do that are temporary, that provoke. This is a Yohji Yamamoto fashion show that was in the Park Armory in New York City last year. That building's so fantastic, and what he did with light, just simply using light as architecture, just blew my mind. The next slide is of, let's see. This was a gallery installation where they took nature, and it was a snowstorm, a blizzard behind glass. It was stunning. It just, a Japanese designer, and I wish I remember his name, but these are the things that move me. These are the things that really want to inform how I look at Salt Lake, what I want to do in this city, how we can move forward. This next one was fabulous. It was in Brooklyn last year. It was called the Creators Project, and it was a pavilion of visual sculpture and a home for art and sound installations, and it was kind of opened up with Florence and the Machine, who kicked the life into it, and it was just a huge party for 3 days that was free to the public, and it really changed that Dumbo cityscape. This image to me is just so beautiful because it's really about how light and the moment and the experience can really carve these just really pristine and really wonderful, simple images that really become about architecture more than they do about the experience. So that's where I'm kind of headed with this wind-up now, is that I really think this is it, we're here! This city's awesome. I mean, it's so, you know, like tonight I see so many people, and we've all been kind of on the forefront here, trying to lift this city into getting a personality and, you know, just help it figure out what it wants to be when it grows up. So I'm reflecting tonight that I look at Jesse Walker out here, and it just so many people. He's been my right-hand man with all my sound installations, and it's just, that's what makes Salt Lake so great, is that we really all have these long histories in the arts and with architecture and design that really lead us to having some new impact on this. So I just want to say thank you.
Beer break.